Welcome back. Alex and Priscilla of No Carne are two of the most socially active vegans in the Bronx area, showcasing their food from the New York City Vegetarian Food Festival to pop-ups right here in the BX. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for being here. So we met in April when you guys were part of the Foodie Down Bronx panel. Priscilla, you were too nervous to be on stage, but Alex, you took the reins. But I really appreciate you guys being there and being supportive. I think it was a pretty awesome night overall.
Absolutely, yeah.
It gave you guys a chance to speak more about your platform and your initiatives as vegans. And I'll admit that before I connected with you guys, I didn't know too much about the vegan community here in the Bronx. And I think you sort of really enlightened me into what's really happening in the borough. So can you tell me everything about No Carne?
Cool, yeah. So with No Carne Lifestyle, we originally started in 2017. And that was an initiative to help raise awareness of the vegan lifestyle, food, all the way to the clothing aspect of it and the environmental aspects of going vegan. And we recently launched No Carne Bodega this year in February. And that was more to bring vegan food and food products more accessible in the Bronx and communities in need, underserved communities. And we try to change the narrative because a lot of people think eating vegan is expensive or is just, it's not enjoyable. They think it's mainly salads or just vegetables. So we try to change it up and try to veganize common dishes that people are used to having already.
Right. And were both of you guys vegans for a long time before No Carne started, or was it around the same time that it started?
For us, our veganism has been like a long journey for us. First, we started vegetarian I would say we were vegetarian for like 6 years. And then 2.5 years ago, I think we're going on like 3 now. So 2.5, 3 years ago, we decided to go fully vegan.
Yeah.
So did you guys sort of had a slow roll to it, or you just jumped into veganism? So you guys must know that I'm doing my whole vegan summer thing,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I jumped into it,
Yeah.
which is not advisable.
I commend you
right?
for that, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling. But were you guys maybe vegetarian before, and then you
Yeah.
went to veganism?
Yeah.
So you guys were both vegetarian?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we were vegetarian for 6 years. For me, it started mainly for my health.
Mm-hmm.
I started cutting out certain things. It started with like first red meat, then chicken, and then fish. And then I kind of just stood there for a while, for like 6 years. And then about 2.5 years ago, I learned about the other aspects, of the environmental aspects, animal cruelty. And I was like, I'm so close. Let me just cut out dairy. So I just cut out dairy, found some good replacements. I was like, you know what? I could do this.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I mean, it's honestly, I can't speak for how the true vegan lifestyle is, but I haven't found it that difficult to find alternatives.
Right.
It's actually really fun to sort of see what I can come up with and stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess, how do you guys, I need to know this, how do you fight the cravings for having something that isn't vegan? Or is it to the point that you guys have done this for so
Exactly.
long that you don't even have the
That's
cravings
exactly
anymore,
it.
right?
There's no more cravings anymore. It's been actually several years, probably 4 or 5 years that I haven't been interested. We both haven't been interested in it at all.
Yeah.
You
So
can
you guys,
have
like-
whatever you want in front of us. We're just like, no, we're
You
good.
guys don't miss chicharrón? None of
In
that?
the
You know what? That's a bad question. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the cravings, they do go away. In the beginning, it's like you think about it and then you see it and you're around people that are eating it, so you kind of like, oh, I miss it. But then after a while, you don't even see it as food anymore.
Yeah.
So you guys as a couple came together and decided to do this journey together to
Yeah.
sort
Yeah.
of support each other. Alex, were you like a heavy meat eater before? Like, were you just ripping into everything?
Not really. I had a lot of bad experiences like eating meat. Like I never got to eat one of those very good steaks that people talk about. So
Okay.
for me, it was just, corner restaurants and chicken spots and things like that. So it was just, for me, it was easy to give it up. And I never really cared too much of it. I'm one of those people that it's not like heavily into food. Well, back then, I wasn't really into it. I would just eat because, I need to eat 3
You needed
meals
your
a day.
sustenance and your energy.
Right, but now, ever since I went vegetarian, then vegan, now that I like avocado, now that I like maduros, I'm like really getting into food now.
You see that like your palate changes, right?
Exactly,
His
yeah.
palate has expanded so much.
And you're like, damn.
Yeah.
right? Like, this is amazing now. Now he
Before it was
knows
like-
about food.
Yeah, before it was like rice, beans, and chicken.
Yeah.
Rice, beans, and chicken.
Claro que sí,
Yeah.
what's wrong with that, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, for me, it's like,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Now we have a little bit of everything every
Yeah.
day, yeah.
Right. So you have the palate change. You definitely feel better, right? That's one thing that I can say for sure. For me, it's like doing this, even though like I'm about 2 weeks away from wrapping everything up, and the
Okay.
cravings are real right now. Like because I see the finish line, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh man, ese bistec se ve tan bueno, right? But it's like for me, I can't deny the fact that I feel amazing,
Right.
especially because I've cut out dairy.
Yeah.
The dairy thing is like that to me is like. I think when I go back to being an omnivore, dairy is going to be something the intake decreases.
Right,
You know, at the panel, you had mentioned a term that I loved that I have been telling everybody about, flexitarian.
Flexitarian.
Can you
yes.
explain that to me? Because I feel like that's exactly what I'm going to end up being
That's
going
good, yeah,
forward.
that's a
So
good
what is a
thing.
flexitarian?
Flexitarian is defined as someone who predominantly eats a plant-based diet, but occasionally has meat or fish. So a lot of people do the Meatless Monday challenge,
Yes.
but that'll be only one day where they don't eat meat or dairy products. This is kind of the opposite of that, where you kind of just predominantly eat meat, vegetable, and plant-based food throughout your week. Maybe squeeze in a little dairy, a little meat or fish throughout the week. Yeah.
Right. So when it comes to being a flexitarian, I mean, I guess what would you guys say? Like skip the red meat and just stick with like the chicken,
Yeah.
or stick with the fish?
We would always recommend avoiding red meat, not only because it's not good for your health, but also is terrible for the environment. Yeah.
Can you explain that to me? How exactly is red meat terrible for the environment?
Well, I'll go ahead and say that from what we've learned, the research that we've done, is something about the methane that cows put out, and also the fact that to raise cattle, you end up using a lot more land mass than you would for the same amount of nutritional value in plants. So I forget the ratio, but yeah, it's a big difference. There's exponentially more land used for raising cattle, and what happens is, eventually you run out of land and you start cutting down trees
Right.
to make space just for raising cows because people want to eat so much beef. So
I see.
yeah,
I
like,
see.
we like to say, as vegans, we would love everyone to go vegan, but at least if you reduce your meat consumption,
Right.
Everything helps. Yeah.
it will make
I
a
feel
big
like every
impact.
little, of course, every little step helps, right?
Right.
And so you mentioned, Priscilla, that when you were going through all of this, you became more conscious about the environmental effects and stuff. So you guys are like, because I was reading about how some veganism is broken down into like chapters, like you're this type of
Okay.
vegan, you're that type
Yeah.
of vegan. So you guys are like sort of like you're vegan, like
Yeah,
you're
all
like
the way.
capital V, right, with
Yeah.
the green V and everything.
Yeah.
You guys don't, of course, needless to say, you don't do the fur, you don't
None of
do.
that stuff.
You
No
try to be very
leather.
conscious about the products you buy, clothing wise.
Yeah.
And
Artificial leather, things like that. Yeah.
Right, right. And that is that coming from the culture that we come from. What's the response you guys have gotten?
Well,
know?
go first.
Family?
Family, and even when you go out to a restaurant, like
Yeah.
and you say, I can't have this, I can't have that. What's the response you guys have done?
I mean, we just got back from the Dominican Republic last week, and over there, people were like shocked. Like when we would go out to eat, like, you don't want meat? No quieren carne. Like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna
Yeah.
eat? And we're like, we can eat everything that's around it, just
Everything
not
else,
the
yeah.
meat. Everything
Right.
else, all the veggies over there, they always have plátanos. There's always avocado. So we ate pretty good, but everybody was just shocked. Like,
Yeah.
are you guys okay? Are you full?
Yeah.
right. Do you need a second helping
Yeah.
of what you just had because you missed everything
Yeah.
out?
And we were also a little surprised too because some people knew because people were like, oh, you mean vegetarian? Like, I'm like, oh, somos veganos. They're like, no, you mean vegetarian. No,
Right,
no,
right.
vegan. It's a little different.
Right. They were like trying to convince you were
Yeah,
vegetarian.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but we also found a lot of vegan products out there. We found Follow Your Heart cheese. We found some of the chips and stuff that we have. So, like, DR is getting up there.
Yeah,
They
you know,
really are.
I went to a restaurant recently and I said as much. I was like, can I just have, some rice and beans and some plantains? And the lady looked at me and she was like, where's the meat?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not having any. She was like, ay, Dios mío, pero.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like her heart broke. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, no, you don't understand. I'm vegan. And she
Yeah.
was like, I'm not importa. I just, it's like. All right, guys, grab yourselves a snack. Foodie Down Bronx. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Foodie Down Bronx. I'm your host, M, the Hungry Dominican, and I'm joined on set by Alex and Priscilla of No Carne. Guys, so I wanted to talk about the pop-ups you guys do here in the Bronx and some other spots in the city. And along with that, you bring some items from your bodega, right? Your No Carne Bodega. Can you tell me about some of the things you guys offer on your site and when you do your pop-ups?
Okay, yeah. So at our pop-ups, some pop-ups we're not able to cook food depending on the reasons. But when we do cook food, we'll do chopped cheese, bacon, egg, and cheese. We'll try to do the chicharrones with tostones.
These right here? These
Yes,
beauties
sir.
right
Yep,
here?
yep. There it is.
Chicharrón de cauliflower and some beautiful tostones. You can go
Tostones.
along with that.
Yes.
Huh? Beautiful.
With the authentic Dominican flavor, yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this on your page, and I was like, I need to have this.
Yeah.
That looks amazing. Because cauliflower is my biggest crutch. One of my biggest crutches for the vegan thing.
Okay.
Right? It's like if I'm just like super hungry about something, I go to cauliflower. I
Right.
roast it. I make whatever I can with it.
Yeah.
However it works. So that looks amazing. I can't wait to try that. But tell me just a little bit more about the pop-ups. Where do you go exactly? Where can people find you?
Yeah.
Well, right now, our bodega is online, so you can order from our website, nocardelifestyle.com, or we're also on Mercado, which is, it's like Uber Eats, but it's a different brand, and then we're on Uber Eats as well. So as far as our grocery items, you can find that on all 3 platforms. As far as our cooked food, we're having it on Uber Eats right now and on Mercado. Cooked food is going to be available, well, it is available Tuesday, Wednesday, and
Yes.
Thursdays right now, and then we do pop-ups as well throughout the city. So for the pop-ups, we usually announce that if we're able to cook, then we cook on site. All our bodega classics, which are the chopped cheese, the bacon, egg, and cheese. We do the vegan chimi as well, and then we do the tostones and the chicharrón de cauliflower.
Do you guys have a bestseller? One that like people like either like DM
Definitely.
you or email you about like you guys
I would
need
say
to
the
have this?
chopped cheese.
I would say
right?
the chopped
The
cheese.
chopped cheese,
yeah,
right?
the chopped cheese.
It's definitely a bodega classic.
Yeah.
No Carne
Yeah.
Bodega.
Yeah.
Everybody's interested in trying it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had a vegan chopped cheese yet, but I'm curious to see how that's
Very soon, yeah.
We need to change that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So you mentioned Uber Eats. You guys just started
Yeah.
on Uber Eats, right?
Just yesterday, Monday, we just started that.
Congrats
and,
on that.
Thank
That's awesome.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
So we're available on Uber Eats and Mercado and on our website 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. because we try to stay open to provide vegan options late night because that's usually a problem. You can't find any vegan food at night.
That's so true.
Yeah, the only difference is that the food itself is only available Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because of our the situation with our permit. So that's how we're
Right.
able to work right now.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a little bit of your food here because,
Go for it,
like I
let
said,
me-
Go for
I
it.
have
the-
bookmarked this
Get the lime on it.
This picture of,
sauce over here.
the chicharrón de cauliflower. I mean, I make a huge mess of myself. You know, I got people watching. But this looks amazing.
Mhm.
There it is.
Wow.
Got a little ketchup mayo sauce right here if you're interested.
Un momentico, por favor. This is too good right now. Could you recommend anything for people to make at home when it comes to vegan eats, like getting creative with what you have at home?
That's a big reason why we wanted to start as a bodega, because our thing is not just come and buy the food from us. We want you to cook the food at home. So that's why we sell all the vegan products as far as the meat alternatives, the cheese alternatives, the egg alternatives, and we try to keep it at an affordable rate. So that way you can go home and try to recreate the foods that you're used to eating
Yeah.
and just the vegan version of it.
And the cool thing is that a lot of times people will come to the pop-ups and try the food for the first time because we try to do pop-ups that aren't all vegan. So like that we get the vegan curious crowd.
Right.
They get to try it out and then they go ahead and order from us and make it at home.
Have you guys noticed this change in your clientele? Like, do you have a lot of meat eaters that reach out to you that are sort of exploring their options and kind of want to, back off a little bit? Or is your clientele mostly people who've been vegetarian or vegan?
I would say a mix of both, right?
Yeah, we got a mix of both, but
Yeah.
it's always nice when you get the big meat eaters, complimenting the burgers or the chopped cheese, and they're like, "Oh wow, this meat is so good. Where can
Yeah.
I buy it?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that between like the Beyond Meat burgers and the Impossible burgers, it's definitely, and I always say this, it's not as hard as people think.
Right.
I think that because I sometimes I do extremes, I just jumped into it and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna from day one, I'm just in this, right? And it's been fine, and I can continue this, but for me, the fish alternatives are not as great as I wish they
Right.
were.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's the thing that kind of kills me. Because
Yeah.
if they were there, like if they were just on point, I think I'd just continue this.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is there, in like real talk, is there that thing where you don't get the full experience on a vegan diet
Go
when
for
you're,
it. I see you right
kind of
I
making a
agree,
dish?
Yeah,
Like
I
what-
agree with you. I would say seafood.
Right.
Seafood.
Yeah, like seafood, I haven't found a really good alternative. I've tasted a few and they've been good, but I wouldn't compare because I was big on seafood back in the day. So comparing it is not there yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sure eventually somebody will
I know
create
that.
it. Yeah.
I know that. Like the Beyond Meat
Yeah.
is sort of working on some fish products, but you
Oh,
know,
okay, yeah.
it's
Okay,
like
I didn't know
right
that.
now it's like not there. But tell me a little bit more about the products you have in your bodega, because I see some across the way, and I want to make sure everyone knows what you offer when it comes to snacks and some other products.
So just when you think of a bodega, you think potato chips, candies, things of that nature. So we have hippies, which are they're chickpea snacks, which is just like cheese puffs, just like that. We have potato chips, just the Kettle brand. Unreal, which is kind of like it's a chocolate, but it's kind of like Reese's or like M&Ms. And what else do we have?
We have Smart Sweets. They're kind of like fishies. You know, in the bodega
Oh,
when
the
you go get the
Swedish fish?
quarter fishies.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
the
yes,
sweetest
yes.
fish. Yeah, we have those, and
We have a bunch of stuff that you might not that we
yeah,
didn't bring with us today.
we brought mainly like the snacks and the candies, but we also sell on the bodega. We sell the actual like cheeses, and you can buy. You
Yeah.
can do like a grocery. You can go grocery shopping
Yeah.
on the Carne Bodega.
So the same
yeah.
bacon and cheese that we make, you can buy
Yeah.
the bacon from us, you can buy the cheese, you can
That's
buy
awesome.
the egg, all that stuff. And we also have cereal, everything, even ice cream. Yeah, we
Yeah.
sell Van Leeuwen ice cream,
Yes.
and we have So,
So good.
Delicious. Yeah.
It's so good. I that was also. I mean, I have a lot of crutches this summer. That was one of my crutches.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I gonna get? You know, even though my sweet tooth isn't like as much as it used to be now that I cut off so much. When I do get a craving for something sweet, I usually have that ice cream or just like a coconut-based ice cream.
Right.
You know, just in general. So before we wrap up, I wanted to know, because what you guys are doing is, you know, it takes a lot of energy, manpower to get this whole operation going. What are the next steps for No Carne? What's you know, are we going for a physical space? Are we going for a physical space and other things? What's the sort of, there's really no end goal when it comes to your business, I think. I think you just sort of evolve and you keep
Right,
going.
that's kind
but
of how it works. Right?
what do
Yeah.
you, what's the road that you guys are taking?
Well, for now, we're trying to focus on Uber Eats and our delivery platform, online grocery, and all that type of stuff. As we grow, and towards the end of this year, we're going to see if we start planning to open up a location in 2020, if all goes well. And that'll be our first location, and we're absolutely going to start that here in the Bronx. But if we do expand and do other locations eventually, it'll still be in underserved communities. We'll go to Washington Heights next, and we'll keep exploring throughout the other boroughs. That's what we'll do.
So that's important to you guys, to bring this initiative to those communities where usually they don't get that much exposure.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right, because you have like the whole like Not 62 initiative in the Bronx,
Exactly,
and
yeah.
how the Bronx is like supposedly the unhealthiest country. I say supposedly because I think the narrative
Yeah.
is a little bit skewed.
Yeah, like
You
who's
know?
doing that math?
Yeah, like who's the one really? You know, I mean, yes, you could say the facts are there, but I think that there's a lot of things that those facts, supposed facts, are overlooking
Right,
when it
yeah.
comes to the healthy options in the borough. Which I got to say, you guys are really changing up the game. And like again, I didn't realize the extent to the vegan community in the Bronx until I met you guys. So I think what you guys do is amazing.
Thank you.
I think you should keep at it. I mean, of course you're going to keep at it. I mean, this thing is going well for you guys, right?
Appreciate
The reception's
that, yeah.
been amazing.
Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
loving it. Yeah.
Everyone's loving it. So where are you guys going to be next? Where can people find you next? Pop-ups?
We have a pop-up on August 3rd. It's Roofless NYC's over here in the Bronx. And that one, yeah, August 3rd from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. It's a night event, actually. It's like a showcase, a lot of artists and stuff like that. But we'll be there selling our vegan food.
Wonderful. Awesome. All right, guys, stay connected with Alex and Priscilla on Instagram at No Carne and No Carne Bodega. All right, folks, grab yourselves a snack. Foodie Down Bronx. We'll be right back.